From a demon man spotted throughout Brazil to a creepy creature stalking the halls of a hospital. Join us as we take a look at 10 demon photos you just have to see.
This photo was taken sometime in the late 90s at a wedding reception in Aurora, Minnesota. The couple in the photo, Mr. and Mrs. Martinez, claim they didn't notice anything strange about the photo until 8 years after it was taken. There in the background is a strange dog-like face just above the left shoulder of Mr. Martinez. The couple said there was no dog at the reception and were baffled by the image. Mr. Martinez, who was battling drug addiction at the time, claims the photo was an omen. He took the photo as a sign to stop drug abuse, believing this was some kind of demon clinging to him. He now carries this photo around with him, reminding people of evil that can be found in this world. Photography experts examined the photo and determined that it hadn't been tampered with in any way, concluding that the dog must have been present the day the photo was taken. Whether the dog is demonic or not remains a topic of fierce debate on social media and forums today. When this photo was submitted to Reddit in 2012, the forum went into a frenzy of speculation. What's now known as the Wisconsin Trail Cam mystery, this startling image has baffled analysts for years. The shambling creature seems to be wearing tattered rags with a hood draped over its hunched shoulders. Some have noted the footprints running across the ground as if the beast is tracking them. There's been no reasonable explanation for this image. Opinions range from a demon to a zombie or even a lost soul forced to eternally wander the woods. Some have said that it's a smear on the lens of the camera or just a person with a sheet draped over them. Whatever the case may be, this is one of the most baffling demon photos ever taken. In late 2015, unusual photos began appearing in Brazil. People all over the country were reporting sightings of a strange demon-like man. Some even described the creature as a werewolf. The sightings occurred in different cities around the country all around the same time. One witness said they saw a strong-looking creature running fast along the building tops. Residents even avoided going out at night during the spate of bizarre sightings. The photo on the right was captured by a young girl who was out with her father. They said they couldn't get a video of the creature as they were too scared. The photo appears to show a figure with bent legs similar to a goat with a strong upper torso. The other photo that surfaced shows a humanoid creature with pointy ears, a hunched back and giant arms. When the photos began circulating on social media, speculation ran rife. Viewers called the creature a demon, a werewolf and even a pixie man. Others were quick to dismiss the pictures as hoax Photoshop jobs. Officials were unable to explain the string of strange sightings. There's not a lot of solid information about this photo. In the picture we see two young boys who have taken an innocent selfie, but what they accidentally caught in the photo will give you chills. Take a look at the bottom right hand corner. There appears to be a little girl or demonic doll staring menacingly at the camera. It has long black hair and a gaunt, twisted face. It's hard to verify this one as there's next to no information available. It could quite easily have been staged or photoshopped as the quality and lighting of the image is extremely low. What do you think is going on in this photo? Is it simply a fake or were these boys visited by a demonic doll? When this woman took an innocent selfie in the mirror, she couldn't have known the chilling image that would develop. Uploaded to Imager in 2016 with the caption, "Please tell me that's your shy daughter." This sinister photo whipped paranormal enthusiasts into a frenzy. Behind the woman's left shoulder is a demonic face with glowing eyes and a slight grin. The two skin tones don't match and the look in the eye of the second figure is really off-putting. The woman who took the photo has never come forward, so it's hard to verify the authenticity. It could be a very well-timed photobomb, a Photoshop job, or it could be something far more sinister. When this photo was shared to Facebook in January 2017, it set the internet alight with rumours. Allegedly, Phoenix resident Richard Christensen took this mysterious photo while walking through Tucson, Arizona. In the photo is a winged figure that looks to be at least 10 feet tall. Christensen uploaded the image to his Facebook account on New Year's Day with the caption, "What the hell do you see in this picture for reals? Anybody?" The photo quickly went viral with news outlets, social media and forums all speculating on what was captured in the image. Some Christian news sites were quick to call the figure a demon and that it's the sign of the apocalypse. Others, however, are a little more cautious in their assessment of the image, saying it could quite easily be a fake, with some claiming it to be nothing more than a palm tree in the distance. Legendary debunking website Snopes.com allegedly reached out to Christensen for comment, but he declined to provide further information. What do you think? Is this a demon signalling the end of days, or is it just a viral hoax? Let us know in the comments section below. This photo was taken by a mother known only as Heather from Pennsylvania using her camera phone. It shows her son posing for a photo, but in the background there's a demonic face with black eyes peering out from behind the boy. The mother claims there was definitely no one behind her son when the photo was taken. What is going on in this picture? Was this boy visited by a demon? This photo of a demon creature lurking in a cave has been floating around the internet since the mid-90s. It's puzzled viewers for decades. With each passing year, the photo seems to pick up new details in a sort of mass game of Chinese whispers. With this in mind, it's hard to separate fact from fiction. The story goes that two boys were exploring a cave in Ras Al Khaimah, United Arab Emirates. As they went deeper into the cave, they heard the terrified screams of another person. As the cave was near pitch black, they decided to take a photo, using the flash of the camera to light up the cave for a second to see their surroundings. The flash went off, bright white light filling the cave. The two boys saw a demon-like creature clinging to the rocky wall. They ran as fast as they could out of the cave, alerting authorities about their encounter. The next day, local police searched the cave and discovered the remains of a young man partially eaten. The following week, the two boys returned to England. They contacted the local newspaper, the Bournemouth Advertiser, and told them of their ordeal. The journalist running the story checked the roll of film and discovered this image. Just like the boys described, there was a small demon creature clinging to the wall of the cave. The article attracted international attention, and since then the photo has become infamous. Experts, however, claim that the photo was a hoax, saying the creature is nothing more than a statue placed in the cave to spook tourists. Others believe the photo to be genuine, citing it as evidence of demons that live among us in caves and shadows, lurking closer than you might ever think. In 2014, two UK women took a Halloween selfie that would haunt them forever. After uploading this photo to Snapchat, Kaylee Atkinson rang her friend Victoria Greaves and told her to take a closer look at the photo they had taken earlier that evening. In the background is a demonic face staring straight at the camera. It has a strange pale complexion and an eerie grin. The picture scared both girls so much that they immediately deleted the image from their phones. The two girls were certain that no one was behind them when the photo was taken. Could these two girls have been visited by a demon? This creepy photo has been doing the social media rounds since around 2014. It's hard to verify the source of the image as it's been shared so many times it's become somewhat of a creepypasta. The most common story attached to this photo is that a nurse in a hospital took a screenshot of a security camera that was monitoring patients in the ward. She claims that she saw a demon-like figure walking up and down one particular patient's bed. It had long black legs and eerie slender fingers. When she went to the ward to check on the patient, there was no figure in the room. However, the patient's vitals began declining rapidly and the person passed away shortly after. Folklore often tells of strange sightings in hospitals, dark figures lurking in the periphery, perhaps waiting to take the souls of the recently deceased. When the photo went viral across social media, debunkers got to work analysing the image. As the quality of the original photo is low, it's hard to break the image down. One commentator thought that it's merely a series of objects compiled together on a strange angle that gives the effect of a lurking creature, while others believe the image to be genuine, saying that this could actually be evidence of a demon collecting the souls of the sick and frail.
Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button? We do videos just like this each and every week. If you've been around a little while, hit that bell icon so you get notifications about all our latest content. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.
10 ghost photos that can't be explained. Can our world be haunted by the deceased? Many people believe in an afterlife but lack solid evidence. Are the following photos proof of the spirit realm? Join us as we examine 10 ghost photos that can't be explained. Today we have very special guest Danger Dolan to help us go through these creepy ass photos.
This ghostly picture was taken in early January 1929 in the Phantom Wood Mill in the United States by a builder named Robert D. Walsh. At the time, the young builder was making repairs to the staircase when he needed some reference photographs to help with the renovations. He had been alone all morning and said that his dog had been acting unusual, whimpering at thin air. Then, when the photograph was developed, it was clear that some kind of apparition was hovering at the top of the staircase. Mr. Walsh died in November 1943, having sworn that the photo was real and hadn't been altered in any way.
Ghostly family photo. In the late 1800s, this family sat down to get a group photograph. When they developed the photo, they noticed a haunting face in the background. It is said that this is the face of a family member that had recently died. It would appear they didn't want to be forgotten and desperately wanted to be included in the family photo.
Little girl in the abandoned house. Little is known about this picture other than it was posted anonymously in a forum in the late 90s. Apparently it was taken while exploring an abandoned house. The poster was adamant that nothing or no one was present when the picture was taken.
The Tulip Staircase Ghost. This chilling ghost photo was taken in 1966 by Reverend Ralph Hardy in the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich, England. At the time, the Reverend was taking a series of photos of the Tulip Staircase in the Queen's house. When he had the photographs developed, he was stunned at what he had captured. The Reverend was certain no one was present that day, as the staircase has always been off limits to visitors. Many experts have tried to prove this famous ghost photo as a fake but have fallen short. Kodak even examined the photo and determined that it had not been altered in any way.
This photo was posted to Imgur by a user named The Stringer. It was taken back in 1970 at a birthday party of theirs. Nothing unusual happened that day, until I noticed the strange face of a girl at the bottom of the photograph. No one could identify the little girl. They thought it may have been a friend of a friend or a passing neighbor. And then one day the Stringer's grandmother saw the photo and was certain it was the face of Marie, her daughter that had died several years before the photo was taken.
The Ghost of Dark Hedges. Photographer Gordon Watson took this photo while visiting the Dark Hedges in Stranocum County, Antrim, a location made famous by the HBO series Game of Thrones. A ghostly figure known as the Grey Lady is said to haunt this old stretch of road. She's been reported for many years by witnesses that say she floats the length of the road before vanishing at the last beech tree. Legend has it that it's the ghost of an old maid that died mysteriously hundreds of years ago. Many tourists flock to this road in the hope of seeing the Grey Lady. However, it is thought that this is the first hard evidence of her existence. Photographer Kevin McCauley examined the photograph and told the local newspaper, the Ballymoney Times, that it hadn't been doctored or digitally enhanced in any way.
The Haunted Schoolyard. Photographed in 1977 in an English schoolyard, this chilling image shows a transparent person walking behind a group of school children. Mrs. Gregory, who took the photo during the children's Silver Jubilee, was adamant that no one was walking in the background. Is this the spirit of a deceased school teacher?
Jessica Alba is haunted. On January 13, 2016, celebrity movie star Jessica Alba posted a photo to her Instagram with the caption, "I have no idea what that is, freaky." In the background, it's clear that there's some kind of blue shaded figure staring at the camera. What do you think? Is this real or is she whipping up some good PR?
The Ghost of Baldwin Manor. This unsettling photo was taken in November 2005 by photographer Tom Halstead. Halstead said he snapped this figure as it came up the stairs of the old mansion. He was using 35mm film, and reportedly the figure can be seen on the film's negative, which makes this very compelling evidence of the existence of ghosts.
Missing limb. This photo was submitted to a ghost investigation forum in 2015. The user, who goes by the name of Peter, said he was taking some Christmas family photos when he noticed something disturbing. In one of the photos, his daughter's arm went missing, and in its place a shadow with long, slender fingers appeared. And if you look closely, the shadow also doesn't match what the little girl is wearing. It looks as though the dark figure is wearing a long dress. Bonus time! A huge shout out to Countdown King Danger Dolan for helping out with this one. Now if you can't get enough of the creepy stuff, head on over to his channel right now to see his latest video, 10 paranormal video clips that will give you chills. We feature in it, and the links are in the description box below. Holy moly, get me a fresh pair of pantaloonies, that was terrifying. As always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to give that thumbs up button a click, it lets us know you're enjoying the content. Also click the gear icon next to the subscribe button on our channel page so you get all the latest updates from Slapped Ham. And this is the Slapped Ham Shining Wolf.
Slapped.
10 creepy video game glitches you have to see. Video games are meant to be a safe haven, a sanctuary from the terror of the outside world where players can roleplay in a secure environment. Sometimes though it can all go terribly wrong. Sometimes the game glitches out, then you're all alone in a dark room with some freaky mannequins or a disfigured donkey lady. So get ready as we count down the top 10 creepy video game glitches. The Ghosts of Halo. The Ghosts of Halo are unidentified players that spawn out of nowhere during multiplayer games. These rare and bizarre sightings have been known to occur in Halo 2, Halo 3 and Halo Reach. These ghostly characters don't have gamer tags and don't appear on the scoreboard. They tend to move erratically and can be aggressive if provoked. So what causes these spectral characters to haunt the halls of Halo? Some gamers have speculated that it may be due to heavy traffic on a network or extreme lag. However, there's been no official explanation. Is Minecraft haunted? Herobrine is a mysterious character said to haunt the depths of Minecraft. He is portrayed as a non-playing character, appears to have the default skin type with ghostly all-white eyes. A creepypasta evolved out of a thread that was first posted on the Minecraft forums on August 30th, 2010. It suggests that Minecraft's creator Notch had a brother who passed away that used the gamer tag Herobrine. Could Notch's brother be haunting Minecraft? Notch sent a tweet denying that Herobrine was in the game and that he doesn't have a dead brother. Then, on May 31st, 2011, patch notes were released that explicitly stated, "Removed Herobrine." Doc Mitchell Demon Spawn. At the beginning of Fallout New Vegas, there is a scene with a character named Doc Mitchell. In a few early builds of the game, as the character babbled some exposition, you'd be forgiven for thinking you've slipped into an acid-induced nightmare. Doc Mitchell's head would slowly turn a full 360 degrees, he'd float at you in this sort of awful half squat with a melted neck, all the while calmly explaining the storyline as if nothing's happening. The Pokemon Suicides. This one's not so much a glitch as it is an urban legend. Lavender Town is a game area in Pokemon Red and Green where Pokemon are buried after they die. The town's music is a haunting tune that is said to cause children to commit suicide. The Lavender Town Syndrome refers to a peak in child suicides in ages ranging from 7 to 12. It is said to have occurred exclusively in Japan after the release of the game on February 27, 1996. While this sensational story does make the skin crawl, its origins can be traced to a creepypasta that was uploaded to Pastebin on February 21st, 2010. So thankfully, Japanese children probably weren't killing themselves en masse after listening to this creepy tune. Ghost cars of GTA San Andreas. So this guy's just chilling, flying around the woods at night with his jetpack, nothing unusual. Then out of nowhere, this ghost car manifests and rolls down the hill. According to Crack.com, the glitch occurs when roaming the hilly country areas of the game. As cars only spawn in the immediate vicinity of the player, they can often appear and just roll down a hill until they hit something. Super creepy. The Sims 3 Creepy Babies. This first demon child can sometimes happen when customizing a baby's outfit. Marvel at its long, slender digits and groin face. What mother wouldn't swoon over this gentle creation? Next up, we have a baby stick. Yep, that's right, that long rod there is actually a cute little bubba. No. And lastly, we have a rather disturbing glitch that demonstrates how not to hold your baby. The Karazhan Crypt. Back in the days of Vanilla WoW, there was an area that was off limits to all but a select few players. It was filled with intense scenes of torture, so much so that the developers at Blizzard eventually blocked it off permanently. In the village surrounding Karazhan, there was a crypt locked shut by a gate. By exploiting different spells like Polymorph, you could slip through the metal bars and gain entrance. What waited beyond that gate further down into the crypt were scenes of gruesome suffering. Piles of human remains, bloated corpses chained, floating in murky green water. This is the crypt of the upside down sinners. Persecuted souls left to rot in the depths of an off-limits gaming area. Sherlock Holmes and the Case of Creepy Watson. Here's some unsettling footage taken from a demo of the game Sherlock Holmes Nemesis. Watson's character wasn't programmed to have walking animation, which causes him to appear behind you like Slender Man. Watson is always watching. Red Dead Redemption's menagerie of manimals. Throughout Red Dead Redemption, there are a series of glitches that seem to morph non-playing characters with animals. No one seems to know how to replicate these ghastly glitches, but you can't deny these defects are hilarious and often unsettling. First up is this terrifying pig man. He's wearing a dapper suit, has a swollen animal face, and squeals like a pig when shot. Then there's these surreal flapping birdmen that can be seen flying over the open deserts. Next is the incredible donkey lady captured by YouTube channel Where Da Boots. She's half lady, half donkey, sporting an equine-like face. This mutant half-caste can be ridden around for the gamer's pleasure. And lastly, uploaded to the same YouTube account is the infamous Cougar Man. This possessed little man is doomed to scoot around on his knees and growl viciously like a cougar, attacking unsuspecting passerbyers. Skyrim's living mannequins. Once you own a home on Skyrim, in the basement are a number of wooden mannequins that you can place armor on. Occasionally though, whilst rummaging through your belongings, these demonic mannequins sneak up and stare soullessly at you. When it was first discovered, gamers speculated that it was part of a curse or myth belonging to the house, but Bethesda released a statement saying that sometimes a glitch occurs that causes the mannequins to run on NPC coding, making them wander creepily about your house. Isn't that just lovely? Oh shit, there's some creepy ass video games. If you know of any other creepy video game glitches, let us know down in the comments section below. We'd love to check them out. As always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to hit subscribe if you haven't already. And this is Slapper. Slap. 5 mysterious real-life X-Files. From people claiming to live in countries that don't exist to mysterious ghostly car crashes. Join us as we investigate 5 unexplained real-life X-Files. Number 5. The Mysterious Man from Taured. In July 1954, a plane landed at Haneda Airport in Japan. As the passengers made their way through immigration, a man was questioned by officials. The man, who was European in appearance, claimed to be visiting Japan on business, and that it was his 3rd trip to the country in less than a year. When asked where he was from, the man said he was a resident of a country called Taured. After much deliberation, the officials showed the man a map of the world. The man pointed to Andorra, claiming that that was the location of the mysterious country Taured. Frustrated, he began questioning the officials about the validity of their map, believing it to be some kind of joke. The man had in his possession several different European currencies along with extensive employment documentation. His passport was issued by Taured and had several stamps already in it, including some from previous visits to Japan. Confused, the officials rang the man's supposed employer. They had no knowledge of the man ever working for them. The man was taken to a nearby hotel where he was placed under guard until the matter could be resolved. When the officials returned to further question the man, he had mysteriously vanished along with all his belongings. Number 4. Time-traveling Rudolph Fentz. In 1950, a man around the age of 30 was reported to have suddenly appeared in Times Square, then get hit by a car and die. Witnesses claim that the man looked startled and confused just prior to the accident. The unknown man reportedly had large mutton chop sideburns and was wearing 19th century clothing. Officials at the morgue examined the body and found in his possession a copper beer token, a bill for the care of a horse and the washing of a carriage, and a letter from Philadelphia dated June 1876 addressed to one Rudolph Fentz. The investigating officer began a search to identify the man. Contacting the bank, the investigator was told that Fentz died 5 years prior, but that his wife was still alive living in Florida. The investigator contacted the woman and, after hearing the inspector's unusual story, informed him that her husband's father had mysteriously disappeared in 1876 after not returning from his evening walk. He was 29 years of age. In 2000, researcher Chris Orbeck concluded that the story was fabricated and that it was based on a fictional story that was published around the same time. In 2002, a pastor by the name George Murphy claimed that the Fentz account was based on a short story by science fiction writer Jack Finney entitled I'm Scared. However, in 2007, a researcher working in the Berlin News Archive claimed to have found an article about Rudolph Fentz, written 5 months before the short story was even published. The article is said to detail Fentz's story just as it was reported in 1950. Number 3. The Pollock Twins. On the 5th of May 1957 in Hexham, UK, Jacqueline and Joanna, daughters of John and Florence Pollock, were tragically hit by a car and killed on their way to church. 1 year later, the devastated couple moved away from the small town and gave birth to twin girls, Jennifer and Gillian. Soon after the birth, John noticed that Jennifer had a white mark across her forehead that mirrored a scar his deceased daughter Jacqueline used to have. He also noticed that Jennifer had a birthmark on her leg identical to Jacqueline's. When the girls were 4, their parents brought them back to Hexham to visit old friends. The twin girls immediately began recognizing places in the town, even though they had never been there before. Confused, John and Florence decided to show the young twins several toys that used to belong to their deceased siblings. Incredibly, the twins recognized and named every single toy. Even more bizarre was the twins' ability to recount in detail the events leading up to their sisters' deaths. The unexplained behavior continued until the girls were 5 and then completely stopped. Number 2. The Ghostly Hands of Dartmoor. In the 1920s, a series of fatal accidents occurred along a stretch of road in Postbridge, Dartmoor, UK. One evening an accident occurred, but this time a man managed to survive. The man woke up in hospital visibly shaken. He told investigators that as he approached the accident-prone area, he suddenly felt a pair of rough, hairy hands grab and wrench at the steering wheel, causing him to swerve off the road. Several other crash survivors told eerily similar tales. Another account involved a couple who claimed a ghostly hand attacked them while camping near the area. The couple reported that the hand disappeared when the woman used her fingers to make the sign of the cross. Number 1. The Westall UFO Mystery. The following account is said by many to be some of the most compelling evidence of the existence of extraterrestrials. At 11 AM on Wednesday the 6th of April 1966, more than 200 students and staff from Westall High School and Westall State School in Victoria, Australia, claimed to have witnessed a grey saucer-shaped craft land in a nearby field. The craft, described as about the size of 2 family cars and glowing purple, reportedly descended behind a line of trees where it remained for about 20 minutes. It is said that the object then climbed at great speed and departed in a northwest direction. Several newspapers covered the story, including the Dandenong Journal, which ran 2 separate front-page articles on the unexplained events. GTV Channel 9 television ran a news report of the strange encounter in which a student, Joy Teague, described the object in detail. Sometime after, the footage went missing. Channel 9 reported that the footage was removed from their archive and was never returned. On April 8, 2006, a witness reunion was held at the Westall Tennis Club to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the mysterious incident. What in the blazes? That's some spooky ass stuff right there. Has anything strange happened to you? Tell us your paranormal stories in the comments section below. But as always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to share this around on Facebook and Twitter. If you really want to help us out, click that thumbs up button. That would be amazing. And this is the Slapcam shining off.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about a ghostly Mexico. From the Mapimi Silent Zone to the notorious Majango Murder House. Join us as we take a look at the 10 most haunted places in Mexico.
The House of Laments was the home of Tadio Mejia, a serial killer who committed a series of grisly murders in an attempt to contact his deceased wife. In the late 1800s, Mejia's wife Costanza was murdered during a home invasion. Some sources claim the murderers were miners who worked under Mejia and believed he was embezzling from their salaries. Distraught after his wife's death, Mejia consulted a witch who instructed him in occult rituals that would allow him to contact his wife, but would require human sacrifices. Mejia would eventually kill himself, and although satanic imagery and skeletons were found in his basement, to this day it's unknown exactly how many murders he committed. Today, the House of Laments operates as a museum dedicated to Mejia's blood-soaked story. It features imagery of Mejia and his wife, as well as artifacts related to the couple and Mejia's killing spree. Visitors report mysterious sounds and wails, as well as apparitions wandering the grounds. Subway systems always seem to attract ghost stories. Maybe it's the dark tunnels or the crowds, maybe it's the reputation as a common place for suicides. Whatever the reasons, Mexico City's metro system is no exception to this rule. First opened to the public in 1969, the metro is host to a wide range of ghost stories and paranormal activity, ranging from ancient Aztec ghosts to murdered commuters and ghost trains. Pino Suarez Station is known for the ghost of Victor Platinoff, a metro employee who died in 1989, as well as an ancient Aztec man who weeps about the Spanish conquest. Visitors to Panteones Station, a subway stop constructed near 2 graveyards, may experience mysterious knocks on the tunnel walls or see ephemeral shapes that disappear when they come close. A ghost train allegedly runs from Allende to Zocalo Station, through Viaducto Station, the site of a horrific 1975 crash that killed at least 31 passengers. Opened in Mexico City in 1847, Hospital Juarez is an active medical center known for sightings of La Planchada, the Ironed Lady, a ghostly nurse from the mid-1900s who appears in a perfectly pressed nurse's uniform. Descriptions of the nurse vary. Some report seeing a glowing and floating figure, while others describe a normal-looking nurse. In all cases, she is known for treating patients in the hospital's emergency section and bringing about miraculous recoveries. Much like her appearance, the legend surrounding La Planchada's origin changes with the storyteller. Some say she was a nurse in love with a doctor who rejected her and drove her to suicide. Others claim she euthanized patients in order to relieve their pain. Whatever her origins, La Planchada is known as a benevolent spirit, and there isn't a patient in Hospital Juarez who wouldn't be happy to see her. Also known as La Zona del Silencio and the Sea of Thetis, the Mapimi Silent Zone is a stretch of desert in Durango, Mexico with an enigmatic reputation. Similar to the Bermuda Triangle, the Silent Zone is known for strange phenomena, including radio malfunctions, mutated wildlife, meteor impacts, and reports of extraterrestrial activity. The alien visitors are described as tall and blonde-haired. When encountered, they supposedly ask for water in flawless Spanish, then disappear without a trace. The Silent Zone is also a hotbed of UFO activity, with reports of flying figures, fireballs, and spheres of glowing light. The zone earned its name in the 1960s when oil company Pemex funded a scouting expedition. The oil company's team experienced constant radio problems and equipment malfunctions, leading them to dub the area the Zone of Silence. It remained a curiosity until January 1970, when a United States rocket crashed in the zone, and famed rocket scientist Wernher von Braun led the extensive recovery efforts. This incident stoked interest in the Mapimi Silent Zone and led the Mexican government to establish the Mapimi Biosphere Reserve around it. More than 50 years ago, Don Julian Santana Barrera left his wife and child and relocated to the solitude of Chinampa, known as the Floating Garden, in the canals of Xochimilco, Mexico City. Barrera was known as a loner, so this floating island an hour from the nearest pier must have been paradise for him. Shortly after taking residence on the island, Barrera found the corpse of a little girl who drowned in the canal along with a child's doll. He hung the doll from a tree nearby as a memorial for the girl, but began to be haunted by whispers, wails, and footsteps in the night, despite the fact that he was the only one on the isolated island. He believed these haunting phenomena to be the work of the drowned girl's spirit. In an effort to appease her, he began hanging dolls all around Chinampa. He would continue hanging these dolls for over 50 years until he died in 2001. He drowned, reportedly in the same spot he found the little girl. Hundreds of dolls still hang in the trees of Chinampa today. Hidden in the forests of Mexico City's massive Chapultepec Park is an enormous white mansion known as Aunt Tonya's house. Little is known about Tonya's life today, but in some way she came to live alone in the massive house. Rumour has it that she hid an enormous fortune within the mansion, but she was so reclusive that no one's had an opportunity to investigate. As she aged and grew lonely, Tonya began fostering homeless children in her home. Although the locals appreciated her actions, the children were rowdy and cruel to the kindly old woman. This is where the stories diverge. Some tellings say she murdered the children in a fit of rage. Others say the children murdered her while trying to discover the hidden treasure. Whatever the story, Aunt Tonya's house is known today to be very haunted. It can only be reached by crossing a dilapidated wooden bridge in the third section of Chapultepec Park. The house is always shrouded in fog, and legend has it that Aunt Tonya and the children can be seen and heard wandering the grounds. In March of 2008, 20 students died by falling off a cliff near the mansion. The house is difficult to reach today. The third section of Chapultepec is home to packs of feral dogs, and the mansion has come under new ownership. La Posada del Sol is an ornate hotel in the heart of Mexico City. Designed by architect Fernando Saldaña Galvan, Posada del Sol represented the culmination of his life's work. Galvan poured his blood, sweat and tears into the structure, including gardens, patios, fountains, terraces and over 600 suites, as well as a ballroom, Turkish bath and even a human-sized chessboard. Although Galvan was a gifted architect, construction of the hotel ground to a halt as his debts grew and his funding shrank. Some say Galvan was driven to insanity and murdered his family. Others claim the project was a front for satanic rituals. One terrifying room holds a strange altar many associate with a little girl who was found dead in the hotel's basement. Although no one knows exactly what caused Galvan's failure, it's known that he flung himself off the roof into the hotel's yard. The hotel sits abandoned and cordoned off today. Although this frustrates would-be explorers, perhaps it spares them the curse of Fernando Saldaña Galvan. Panteon de Belen, also known as Santa Paula Cemetery, is a closed cemetery in Guadalajara that has been the site of dozens of folk tales and hundreds of ghost sightings. Perhaps the most famous of these is the vampire tree. Legend has it a vampire terrorized the citizens of Guadalajara until he was caught, impaled with a wooden stake and buried. A tree grew from his grave. It can be seen today towering over the other graves. It is said you can see the faces of the vampire's victims in the bark at night, and if you break off a branch, the tree will drip blood instead of sap. Some even believe that when the tree dies, the vampire will rise again to terrorize the city. The tree is protected by a government-installed fence today. Whether this is to protect the tree from vandals or protect the citizens from a resurrected vampire remains unclear. The ancient Mayan city of Chichen Itza is a well-known UNESCO World Heritage Site that was one of the largest Mayan cities. Aside from its cultural importance, Chichen Itza is known to paranormal enthusiasts as one of the most haunted places in Mexico. Chichen Itza was the site of mass human sacrifices whose ghosts wander the ruins today. Visiting tourists often report seeing ghostly humanoid figures around the old observatory. Chichen Itza is also a hotspot for Alax sightings. Alaxes are spirits that take the form of child-sized Mayans and are associated with natural features like caves and forests. Much like European fairies, they're known for theft and trickery, but also for bestowing gifts on those who show them proper respect. If you encounter a small, mysterious person in traditional Mayan clothing in Chichen Itza, be sure to mind your manners. If you visit the Mexican state of Querétaro, you might see a small boarded-up house surrounded by a wall topped with barbed wire. The locals will tell you about screams and sobs that come from the house, and if you watch closely, you might see a small child pop up in the window. This is the home of Claudia Majangos, the hyena of Querétaro. Claudia was a college-educated former beauty queen with a husband, 3 children, and a sizable inheritance after the death of her parents. She taught catechism at her children's Catholic school and opened a fashion shop downtown. Although she and her husband were experiencing marital problems and Claudia was subject to occasional hallucinations, no one suspected what would come next. In April of 1989, Claudia woke up in the middle of the night hearing voices in her head. Following the voices' instructions, she went to the kitchen, retrieved 3 knives and proceeded to attack her own children. She cut off her youngest child's hand, stabbed her eldest daughter 6 times, and stabbed her 9-year-old daughter in the heart. Afterwards, she piled the bodies in the master bedroom and attempted to kill herself. Claudia woke up in the hospital 3 days later and claimed not to remember anything. Doctors diagnosed her with schizoaffective disorder and epilepsy. These mitigating health issues allowed her to receive the minimum sentence for her crimes, just 30 years in prison. Some reject the doctor's theory and maintain that she was possessed by demons. An inmate at her prison claimed to hear her conversing with demonic male voices when in solitary confinement. Whether Claudia's actions were the result of possession, schizophrenia, or something else entirely, her former home has become the site of satanic rituals and is a mecca for paranormal researchers.
Fresh pandaloonies, please. I may have just soiled myself. As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you're enjoying our content, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, then why not hit subscribe and turn on channel notifications. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some creepy photos. From a photograph of the ghost of Jim Morrison to a mysterious picture of a sea monster. Join us as we take a look at 10 photos that simply shouldn't exist.
In 1999, a man from London spotted a UFO in the sky above his home. When he went outside to investigate, he saw several small humanoid creatures foraging around his backyard. He managed to capture a series of photos of the creatures, including this one, that seems to show one of the creatures shielding its eyes from the camera flash. Then, in this image, 3 strange lights can be seen in the sky as 2 of the creatures appear to be communicating with each other. The one on the left looks to be pointing towards the photographer. Could this just be children playing a prank, or was this man really visited by aliens? In 1997, American rock historian Brett Meisner asked his assistant to take a photograph of him standing next to the grave of the legendary Doors frontman Jim Morrison. The grave, located at the Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris, is a popular tourist attraction with many fans visiting daily. Meisner initially forgot about the photo, and it wasn't until 5 years later that he found it again. Looking at the picture, Meisner noticed something very strange about the photo. In the background, there appeared to be another figure standing on top of the steps. The image quickly spread across the internet, with many claiming that the ghostly figure seen in the picture was none other than Jim Morrison himself. When doubt was cast on the validity of the image, Meisner agreed to have it examined. Experts agreed that both the photo and the negative had not been tampered with in any way, nor was there any evidence that the figure was a result of exposure or light manipulation. To this day, the figure in the photo remains a mystery. This photo was taken by a woman who began noticing strange occurrences around her house that seemingly had no explanation. She decided to set up a computer camera and leave it running. When she reviewed the footage, it appeared to have captured a dark figure in the middle of her lounge room. Did she capture what is commonly known as a shadow person, shadowy creatures that are said to lurk on the edge of human sight? Thousands of witnesses have claimed to have seen them, and sightings are apparently more common by those who are sleep deprived. Some believe that these mysterious creatures could be another species of life that simply move too fast for the human eyes to see. Others think that these strange beings are somehow linked to the spirit world. So next time you have that creepy feeling you're being watched but you think no one is around, maybe it's a shadow person lurking in the darkness. This photo of a young married couple was taken in 1942 in Jasper, Alabama. At first glance, it doesn't seem to show anything unusual. When the photo is enlarged, however, you can see clearly what appears to be a haggard old woman in the tree over the woman's shoulder. She seems to be lunging towards the couple with an outstretched arm. Has the photographer captured some sort of ghost or demon lurking within the branches of the tree, just waiting for a chance to attack unsuspecting visitors? What do you think the creature captured in this photo could be? This photo was taken by a woman from Rhode Island on her cell phone. It's of her 22-month-old niece who she was babysitting at the time. When she looked at the photo, she was shocked to see the disembodied head of an old lady in the left-hand corner of the image. The woman swears there was no one else in the house at the time the photo was taken. Sometime later, the woman was rummaging through old photographs and stumbled across one of her deceased great-grandmother. Thinking she'd seen that face before, she remembered the photo that she had taken of her niece months earlier. To her shock, the woman staring over the shoulder of the little girl looked almost identical to her great-grandmother. This image is a still from a video that surfaced online in mid-2016. The footage, supposedly shot in a Portuguese desert, shows a tall, ogre-like creature slowly meandering along a path before it disappears into a bush. The video quickly gained more than 200,000 views as people began debating whether the footage was real or not, and what the creature might actually be. Some believe it may be similar to the South American chupacabra, the cryptid believed to be responsible for killing hundreds of goats, leaving their bodies completely drained of blood. Others believe it could be a distant cousin of the North American Bigfoot, the ape-like humanoid that is said to roam the woods of the Pacific Northwest. This photo was taken by actor and recording artist Ike Clanton at the Boot Hill Graveyard in Tombstone, Arizona. Clanton, who was related to the infamous Clanton gang that did battle with Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday at the OK Corral, took a photo of his friend at the cemetery posing in 1880s period clothing. He deliberately took a black and white photo to give it an authentic Old West feel. When he had the image developed, he couldn't believe what he saw. Over his friend's shoulder, there appears to be a man wearing a dark hat buried up to his waist among the graves. Clanton insisted that there was no one else in the area at the time the photo was taken. To make the story even creepier, Clanton believes the man is actually holding a large knife. When asked about the photo, he said, "We thought this was a tie at first, but after further review it appears to be a knife. The knife is in a vertical position, the tip is located just below the figure's right collar." While this photo has been around for a while, no one has been able to prove who or what the mysterious figure is. What do you think? Camera trick, or has Clanton captured a ghost of a restless cowboy rising from the grave? This photo of a young hunter was supposedly taken somewhere in Australia. The photo shows a man holding a gigantic grasshopper in one hand that he supposedly shot and killed while hunting in the outback. The image first appeared in an Australian magazine in 1937, along with an article claiming that the hunter had shot the world's largest grasshopper. Recently, someone came forward on the internet claiming that the photo was of their grandpa and that it was actually taken in eastern Montana. They said that while he was out hunting one day, he was approached by an unknown photographer. The photographer asked the man to hold out his empty left hand while posing with his gun. He then snapped a few pictures and left. If the image has been doctored in some way, the person has done a remarkable job. Remember, this photo was taken long before Photoshop was even invented. What do you think? Is this an actual photo of a gigantic Australian grasshopper, or has the image somehow been manipulated? This creepy photo was taken at the Crumlin Road prison in Northern Ireland. The man inside the coffin posed for the photo as a prank, but when he saw it, he quickly realised that the camera had captured more than just a joke. To the side of the man's head, you can clearly see the face of someone else lying in the coffin behind him. Today, the prison is a tourist attraction, however it was once the scene of many gruesome executions, murders and suicides. This photo was reported to have been taken near Cell 13, the cell where prisoners would spend their last night before being sent to the gallows. What do you think? Has this picture captured the ghostly face of a past inmate? Let us know in the comments section below. This photo was taken by Frenchman Robert Le Sirec on the 12th of December 1964. Sirec and his family were staying on Hook Island off the coast of Queensland, Australia, in a group of islands known as the Whitsundays. While crossing the bay in a small boat, Sirec's wife noticed what appeared to be a large tadpole-like creature lying on the bottom of the sand, which they estimated to be between 75 and 80 feet in length. Thinking that the creature was dead, Sirec and family friend Henk de Jong decided to jump into the water and film the beast. To their surprise, the creature opened its mouth and began swimming towards them. By the time the pair made it back to the boat, the mysterious beast had swam away. Sirec described the creature as having eyes on the top of its head with pale slit-shaped pupils. Its body was smooth and it had no visible fins or spines. He claimed that the creature also appeared to be injured and may have been seeking refuge in the shallow lagoon to recover. Since the photo surfaced, many have claimed it to be a hoax. The most popular dismissal is that it's a clever Photoshop job. However, the photo was taken in 1964 and a detailed account was written up by zoologist Bernard Heuvelmans in 1968, so it's not possible that Photoshop was used. Several other theories exist, including the idea that it could have been a giant swamp eel. However, eels rarely grow larger than 1 meter. Other theories suggested that it could have been a school of fish or a sunken weather balloon. Some believe it could have been a hoax perpetrated by Sirec using a large piece of plastic sheeting weighed down by sand. To this day, no one has been able to definitively explain the mysterious creature captured in this photo. While Sirec didn't manage to film the beast, he did manage to capture these 2 additional images along with the famous image we've been looking at previous. What do you think? Did Sirec photograph an as yet undiscovered sea creature, or was it something else?
Bonus time! So we're doing another awesome t-shirt giveaway. To get your Piglety mittens on one of these awesome tees, all you have to do is head on over to Instagram and like our page. At the top of our feed, you'll see this photo. In the comments section of that photo, leave the hashtag GimmeGimmeGimme. That'll put you into the running to win one of these awesome t-shirts. So what are you waiting for? Head on over, like our page, and good luck. Well, those photos were just a little bit terrifying. Thank you so much for watching. That's the end of the episode. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you've been around for a little while, smash that upward facing thumb. Leave us a comment down below. We love reading them. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. From being destroyed by artificially intelligent robots to accidentally creating a black hole. Join us as we take a look at 10 science experiments that could end the world.
For years now, science has had the ability to genetically engineer diseases to make them even more deadly than they once were. Scientists can now synthesize and genetically modify a range of nasty diseases like anthrax and mousepox, making them even deadlier than the original strains. In 2005, scientists successfully recreated a strain of the influenza virus, which was estimated to have killed 20 to 40 million people in 1918. The complete genetic sequence of this disease has been mapped and is now available online for anybody to download. In the 1970s, a bacteria was genetically engineered to digest petroleum. It was hoped that the bacteria could be used to clean up oil spills. At the time, it was feared that it may spread out of control, outcompeting other bacteria for survival. While not a direct genetic modification, the creation and use of pesticides on food crops has inadvertently caused many plant-based diseases to develop into superbugs. Forced to adapt through the process of natural selection, these new resistant strains of disease are even more destructive than their predecessors, leading some to speculate that it could be a matter of time before we create a superbug so destructive it could wipe out the world's food sources. Self-replicating technology is any technology that has the ability to reproduce or construct another identical or more advanced version of itself. For example, a single robot is built by humans with the ability to replicate itself using material it gathers and modifies. The mathematician John von Neumann first proposed the idea of a self-replicating machine that could travel through space, gathering resources to build another exact machine. The two craft would then self-replicate, creating four, and so on and so on. The large fleet of craft could travel in different directions throughout the universe and relay data back to Earth. But what if this technology couldn't be stopped from reproducing itself? In his 1986 book about nanotechnology, Eric Drexler elaborated on a concept he called grey goo. He suggests that tiny self-replicating robots known as nanobots could replicate exponentially, harvesting and utilizing every useful mineral on the planet. The result would be a grey goo-like sea of nanobots covering the entire world. In 1970, Russian scientists began drilling a super deep borehole on the Kola Peninsula in northwest Russia. The project was conceived to study the structure and chemical composition of the Earth's deep core. At its deepest, the hole was a staggering 12,262 meters, which is around 40,230 feet deep, and is still the deepest borehole in the world today. It was unclear what drilling this deep into the Earth's core would do, with some speculating that it may cause catastrophic earthquakes or even widespread volcanic eruptions. The SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Institute, is a non-profit organization located in Mountain View, California. Using optical and radio telescope systems, their primary mission is to search for extraterrestrial life forms with the intelligence and ability to communicate. Some speculate that contacting an advanced alien race could lead to interplanetary war, a situation that humans might be ill-equipped to deal with, considering that an alien race may be far more technologically advanced than us. In 1974, scientists broadcast an interstellar radio message that included information about us humans and the planet we live on. The message includes information about the makeup of human DNA, a graphic of a human, the population of Earth, and a map of how to find us. While it will take 25,000 years to hit its intended destination, the globular star cluster M13, many believe that sending this message into space was a bad idea. It essentially tells an aggressive alien race everything they need to do to successfully wipe out all life on Earth. Located beneath the France-Switzerland border near Geneva, Switzerland, lies the world's most powerful particle collider, the Large Hadron Collider. Taking 10 years to build, the facility is the culmination of the work of more than 10,000 scientists and engineers. The purpose of the collider is to accelerate particles to very high speeds and smash them into each other. Data is then collected and the results are analysed. Physicists use the collider to test predictions and theories of particle physics. Initially, the experiment sparked fears that the particle collisions could produce microscopic black holes that may damage the Earth or even swallow it up entirely. Another concern was that the experiments may produce something known as a strangelet. A strangelet is a hypothetical particle that some have theorized, if large enough, could have the potential to turn ordinary matter into strange matter. Theoretically, the strangelet could catalyze one initial nucleus of regular matter, starting a chain reaction that would turn the Earth into a large hot lump of strange matter, obliterating all life in the process. In 1962, the US conducted an operation named Starfish Prime in which they fired a nuclear warhead into outer space from Johnston Island in the Pacific Ocean. The blast caused an electromagnetic pulse far greater than expected. It was so large that the instrumentation readings were off the scale, making it difficult to accurately measure any data. 1,445 kilometers, which is around 898 miles away in Hawaii, the blast caused widespread damage, knocking out 300 lights, setting off burglar alarms and shutting down telephone communication. In the months following the test, the radiation belts left from the explosion disabled 1/3 of all low Earth orbiting satellites. Large pieces of the missile crashed back down on Johnston Island, and plutonium contamination was found on nearby Sand Island. The fact that the electromagnetic pulse generated by the blast was much greater than scientists expected tends to indicate that they were not entirely sure what the explosion might do, but they went ahead and did it anyway. Luckily, the Earth's magnetic field recovered and was still able to protect us from devastating solar winds and harmful cosmic rays. We already have robots that can drive cars and artificial assistants on our mobile phones, but is it feasible that humans will one day create artificial intelligence that is smarter than the human mind? Google's DeepMind AI technology can already beat humans at many games and has shown some rather unnerving similarities to human thought. A recent test raised some disturbing questions. The test involved 2 games. The first, 2 teams armed with lasers had to harvest apples, and the second, a game where the 2 teams hunted down a single prey. DeepMind showed that it was willing to behave peacefully if the resources were plentiful, but if the resources were scarce, it was more likely to attack the other team with the laser. When hunting down the prey, the AI quickly learned that teamwork was the best way to get the food. The results from these tests show that much like humans, DeepMind understands the benefits of betrayal to get what it needs. Is this the first step in creating an all-destroying Skynet-style supercomputer? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. In 1989, director of the Leningrad Institute of Ultra-Pure Biological Preparations, Vladimir Pesechnik, defected to England. Pesechnik claimed that during the mid-1980s, the Soviets were experimenting on ways to weaponize microbial pathogens and to increase their virulence. One of the diseases that the institute was bioengineering was the plague. Also known as the Black Death, the plague was responsible for killing an estimated 75 to 200 million people throughout Europe and Asia between 1346 and 1353. According to Pesechnik, the Soviets were developing a version that was resistant to heat and cold, as well as many antibiotics. The new strain was then placed in warheads that could be fired on a missile. Nobody knows whether or not the Soviet Union were actually planning to use any of these biological weapons offensively, but if they had, this even deadlier new plague may have had the potential to wipe out all human life on Earth. When the US joined World War II on December 7, 1941, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor by the Japanese, the race to develop the world's first nuclear weapon was already underway. Led by the US, the Manhattan Project was a development and research undertaking that produced the world's first nuclear bomb. Trinity was the codename given to the first detonation of a nuclear weapon which took place in the Jornada del Muerto desert in New Mexico on July 16, 1945. The blast was larger than expected, with an energy equivalent around 20 kilotons of TNT. It was so large it melted the sand into a radioactive light green glass. The mushroom cloud reached a staggering 12.1 kilometers, which is around 7.5 miles in height, and the shockwave was felt more than 160 kilometers, which is around 100 miles away. The urgency to be the first country in the world to develop nuclear weapons was obvious, with Germany and Japan also vying for world power. In the haste to win the race, several prominent scientists had concerns about what might actually happen if they were to set off a nuclear device. The Nobel Prize-winning physicist Enrico Fermi believed that the blast may be catastrophic, setting fire to the Earth's atmosphere, creating huge fires around the world. The test went ahead despite his dire predictions, and luckily he was wrong. On August 6, 1945, the US dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima. 3 days later, Nagasaki, both less than 1 month after the first test in New Mexico. Since the 1990s, a hypothesis has suggested that a form of energy known as dark energy may be accelerating the expansion of the universe. This has led to the idea that there could be a point where the universe stops decaying more rapidly and begins to slow down, meaning the universe could exist forever. This has led to an amazing and mind-melting theory. In quantum physics, the Zeno effect is a bizarre yet proven situation where an unstable particle, if continuously observed, will never decay. New research has suggested that scientific measurement of the death of several stars in 1998, which detected dark energy, may have actually reset the universe's decay clock back to zero. How is this possible? By reverting the quantum system back to its original state, one of fast decay. This amazingly difficult to grasp concept basically suggests that scientists could have greatly reduced the life of the universe simply by observing it.
Well, that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you can't get enough of our content, we do have a website. It's full of listicles, top 10s, and facts about everything. There's a link in the description box below if you want to check it out. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some chilling paranormal footage. From spirits haunting the halls of old hospitals to a ghost train caught in Russia. Join us as we take a look at 10 terrifying ghost sightings caught on camera.
This is some chilling footage captured in an old hospital in Honduras. While visiting the teaching hospital at night, a student heard some strange noises and decided to start filming. In the clip, we see a dimly lit corridor with several stretcher beds lined along the walls. Out of one of the doors, a disembodied head suddenly appears. It looks at the camera for a second, then retracts behind the door. It appears again and begins to lurch down the hallway with a strange limp. The student, who must be terrified, retreats into a darkened room. Reports say that the hospital is haunted by a doctor who took his life many years ago. Students and visitors often give accounts of strange shadows, flickering lights, and an eerie feeling of always being watched. Could this be the spirit of the doctor who tragically committed suicide all those years ago? This strange clip was uploaded to YouTube in 2013. It's allegedly taken from a security camera in the Russian metro station Poletsevskaya. In the footage, we see a transparent train pull up to the platform during what looks like a fairly busy period. You can see passengers walking on the platform on the far right, however they don't seem to take any notice of the ghostly train. The translucent locomotive seems to let off several shadowy figures before taking off down the rail line. What could this be? A clever editing job or a ghostly imprint of a train from years gone by? Here's some CCTV footage taken in an unknown grocery store. It shows a shopping trolley eerily wheel across the room. At first it's easy to think that someone has pushed it off camera, but then it turns and wheels up a ramp all on its own. Could this be an elaborate setup with strings pulling the shopping cart? What do you think? Let us know in the comments section below. This is some really creepy footage that started spreading around the internet in 2015. The clip was filmed by two guys looking out the window of their apartment. They started filming when they noticed a strange figure walking through the graveyard adjacent to their apartment block. In the footage, we see what appears to be a lady dressed in white. She walks eerily from tombstone to tombstone, touching her head against the graves. The two men try and get her attention by yelling out, but she takes no notice. At one point, she takes a flower from one of the graves, smells it, then walks somberly through the yard. She even begins skipping and dancing on one tombstone to the next, completely oblivious to the world around her. Finally, she walks behind a large gravestone monument and disappears completely, never to be seen again. The two men continue filming for some time, but fail to spot the eerie lady ever again. This footage was captured by paranormal investigators after they were called to search a suspected haunted house. This house, located in Rowlands Gill, England, is notoriously haunted and known by local residents as a paranormal hotbed. Paranormal investigator Terry Johnson was asked to perform a study on the house to see if they could find any evidence of a haunting. Terry and his crew set up several cameras around the house, and at around 10:20 PM on the Sunday night, they asked for the spirits to reveal themselves. Moments later, a chair moved on its own right in front of the camera. If you take a look at the footage, you can see some strange lights and orb-like objects floating around the room. Then suddenly the chair moves. After being interviewed by the Newcastle Chronicle, Terry said he was gobsmacked by what they had captured on film. Since then, the footage has been spread around the internet, causing a lot of discussion on social media. Many find the footage a little too convenient, calling it a hoax, while others believe it to be genuine evidence of the existence of ghosts and an afterlife. This is some security footage taken in an unknown hospital. It appears to show the moment a spirit lifts up from a body. Reports claim that this is the exact moment the person lying in the bed passed away. As you can see, some kind of vapour seems to lift up from the body and drift down the hallway. It's hard to make further comment on this video as there's next to no information available. The location is unknown and no medical staff or security staff have come forward to verify the footage. While the origins of the footage are unclear, it's hard to deny the startling nature of the clip. Could this actually be the moment a soul leaves the human body? This is some CCTV footage captured in a hospital in West Bengal in early March 2017. Allegedly, this security camera overlooks the outside area of the morgue. Hundreds of dead bodies pass in and out of this facility every day. In the footage, we see a trolley bed begin to move all on its own. It slides back and forth in an erratic motion. Finally, it falls off the pavement into the garden. The clip then cuts to a second security camera. Here we see an employee filling a bottle up at a water tap. As he approaches the trolley bed, it suddenly shifts backwards as if moved by some unseen force. The employee is clearly startled and heads in the opposite direction. When uploaded to YouTube, this piece of footage caused quite a stir among the paranormal community. Many enthusiasts were quick to analyse the footage, hoping to debunk or explain the footage in some way. Theories sprung up suggesting it's nothing more than string tied to the bed, designed as a prank to scare co-workers. Others think the movements are too erratic for string and are simply dumbfounded by the clip, struggling to give it a rational explanation. When this clip went viral in 2016, it caused quite a stir across social media and forums. This security camera captures a hooded man walking down a hallway. What happens next is the stuff of nightmares. It would appear some kind of spirit or demon appears out of nowhere and pushes the man to the ground, then drags him down the hallway. The entity then vanishes as the man runs for his life. Many commentators and paranormal enthusiasts have analysed this footage with little to no solid conclusions. Some say the shadows don't react naturally, raising suspicion of a fake, while others are true believers, saying that this is a real poltergeist attack caught on camera. The man in the footage has never come forward, however, so it's hard to make further comment without his testimony. While on air, Albanian radio show Club FM captured something truly startling during an interview. As the two hosts go about their work, a newspaper inexplicably flies off the table. There's little to no explanation for this event, and it's left the hosts dumbfounded. The footage keeps rolling, and as you can see, everyone is stunned by the bizarre occurrence. It doesn't look like string is attached to the paper in any way, and it doesn't look like a burst of air either. The host even picks up the papers soon after to take a look, as he seems more startled than anyone. If anyone can translate what they're saying in the clip, please let us know, as we'd love to understand their reaction a little more. When this paranormal investigation team searched a heritage-listed English mansion, they couldn't have known the startling footage they would capture. Wentworth Woodhouse is a palatial estate located in Wentworth, South Yorkshire. It's considered the largest privately owned residence in the United Kingdom. Initially built in the 18th century as a centre for political influence, the enormous Jacobean house fell into disrepair in the latter part of the 20th century. Since then, it's been a reported hotbed for paranormal activity. In this clip, we see the paranormal investigation team from the reality TV show Most Haunted searching a stable area of the Wentworth property. After hearing what sounded like footsteps, they ask for the spirits to show themselves. In the distance, you can see what looks like a transparent man walking up the stairs in the opposite direction. The two hosts react and chase the figure down the dark corridor. They quickly look in all the surrounding rooms but find nothing. When the episode aired, host Yvette Fielding described the footage as the most groundbreaking footage we've ever recorded. The Most Haunted crew have been making episodes and chasing ghosts for over 15 years, and this is the most compelling footage they've ever captured. The audience were divided as to what exactly the show had captured on film. Skeptics noted that the ghostly figure looks remarkably like co-host Stuart, as you can see in a tweet from John Donis. Also for me, the two men's reactions seem a little disingenuous, especially if it's the first solid bit of evidence they've captured in 15 years. Others, however, were floored by the footage, hailing it as a turning point in paranormal investigation. What do you think the Most Haunted team have captured? Is it just a transparent video overlay, or is it genuine evidence of an afterlife? Love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.
Fresh pants please, that was a little bit terrifying. If you want to watch more of our content, there's a playlist right there, or you can subscribe because we do stuff like this each and every week. And that's it for me, I'll see you all next time. Pew! From a statue of a giant spider to figures in a spooky Thai-held garden. Join us as we take a look at the 10 creepiest statues ever created.
Representing the human desire to break free of self-containment, Expansion was created by artist Paige Bradley as an experiment in boundary breaking. Disillusioned with the Manhattan art scene and their unwillingness to exhibit anything except contemporary art, Bradley took the already completed wax sculpture of a woman and smashed it into pieces on the studio floor. After casting the shattered pieces in bronze, Bradley then rebuilt the lady with the help of a lighting specialist. The result ultimately questions the irony of human containment, symbolizing the desire to break out of the box. Located in Thailand, the Wang Sang Suk Garden graphically depicts the punishment awaiting sinners in Naraka, the Buddhist hell. The two tall emaciated beings overseeing the whole scene are known as Preta, the hungry ghosts of Thai folklore. The smaller statues below them graphically show people being tortured in various ways for the sins they've committed in their life. Being ripped apart by dogs, disemboweled by birds, boiled alive, or having your head replaced with that of an animal are all depicted here in graphic detail. Donation boxes located nearby encourage the visitors to redeem themselves by giving to charity. The privately owned meditation garden Victor's Way, located in Ireland, is home to some really creepy statues. Amongst them, the Ferryman's End and the Split Man are sure to send chills down your spine. The ferryman is said to represent burnout. His job as ferryman is to take passengers from one shore across the river to the opposite side. This is said to be a metaphor for change, in that without change or movement one will become stagnant and die. Therefore he ferries or transports one from a state of sameness to one of difference. This is why in many cultures the ferryman has come to symbolize the transition from life to death and vice versa. The Split Man statue symbolizes indecision. Unable to decipher and adhere to one's life purpose, the indecisive person will languish in depression. This concept is depicted here by a disembodied hand slicing the figure in two with a sword as he screams in agony. This 9-foot-tall horned, winged depiction of the devil was originally designed to sit alongside the oversized Ten Commandments monument on the grounds of the Oklahoma State Capitol. It was commissioned by the Satanic Temple and is said to be based on the physique of rock god Iggy Pop. The demonic statue never saw the light of day after a state Supreme Court judge ordered that the Ten Commandments monument be removed on grounds of unconstitutional viewpoint discrimination, a decision that sat well with the Satanic Temple as it proved that one religious viewpoint cannot be tolerated while condemning another. The one-ton tribute to Satan now sits in an industrial warehouse in Detroit, Michigan, where it was unveiled to chants of Hail Satan as onlookers flocked to get their photo taken next to the foreboding figure. This creepy sculpture is actually one of a series of 6 gigantic spiders created in 1996. Several of the oversized arachnids are housed in permanent locations, including the National Gallery of Art Sculpture Garden in Washington, D.C. In 2006, one of the statues sold at auction for a mind-melting $4 million. In 2008, another spider sold for $4.5 million, and most recently, in 2011, another sold for a staggering $10,722,000, the latter selling for the highest ever price paid for an artwork by a female artist at the time. This statue of a giant pink rabbit eating a man in Pilsen, Czech Republic is straight out of anyone's creepiest childhood nightmares. The artist, Adam Tribusek, describes the piece as symbolizing man and his constant struggle against the system, and said it was inspired by the painting Saturn Devouring His Son by Francisco de Goya. After erecting the statue, the local council has received several complaints asking it to be moved to another location. Imagine being a small child looking out the window of that apartment building and seeing that thing just before falling asleep at night. Lake Natrone in northern Tanzania is a salt lake with a pH level of more than 12. The caustic waters of the lake make it almost uninhabitable for most wildlife except flamingos that make their nests on the small islands in the center of the lake. The unusual conditions of the lake preserve any animal unlucky enough to fall into the briny waters, turning them hard and statue-like. Unsuspecting birds commonly fall victim to the lake's caustic waters, which can burn their skin and eyes, eventually turning them into an eerie, motionless statue. Weeping angels are characters from the sci-fi series Doctor Who that resemble winged angel statues. They remain frozen in their statue form as long as they're being watched, but can move very quickly when not seen. They harvest human life force by sending their victims back in time and feeding off the potential energy of the victim's future. Although these characters are fictional, they do have a chilling backstory and are consistently voted one of the scariest Doctor Who villains ever created. The idea that a creepy stone statue may come to life when you look away is enough to think twice about visiting a museum ever again. Located in the Lakeview Cemetery in Cleveland, Ohio, is the Angel of Death Victorious, mounted on Francis Hasserot's gravestone. The life-size bronze statue appears to be weeping tears of blood from its pupilless eyes. It holds an upside-down torch that has been extinguished, symbolizing life that has been snuffed out. Many people visit the cemetery each year just to see the statue and gaze into its eerie weeping eyes.
Christmas! Well, it's that time of year again. It's nearly Christmas. Super exciting. Now, we've got one quick announcement. If you want to get your mittens on one of these t-shirts right there, you have to get your orders in now if you want it in time for Christmas. Remember to follow us at SlapCam over on Twitter to get discount codes. And that's it. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. From a man that teleports out of the way of a speeding train to a mysterious scientist that appears in front of a moving truck. Join us as we take a look at 6 teleportations caught on film.
Let's get straight into it with this bizarre appearance in Penza, Russia. This clip shows 2 men and a cameraman discussing something on a street when out of nowhere a man on a bicycle appears and rides away. Slowing it down, there's no possible way the man and his bike were hiding behind the guy in the foreground. Is this a glitch in the footage, or has this old man appeared from somewhere else entirely? This clip, taken in an unknown location, began doing the internet rounds in late 2015. It's some dashcam footage that shows a 4-wheel drive changing lanes. As it merges into the right-hand lane, a man appears out of nowhere. He tumbles onto the road and disappears out of shot. Many have noted that it's possible the man was riding on the bonnet of the 4-wheel drive before he fell. This is a plausible explanation as we can't actually see the front of the car, but why would anyone do that? Or could it be that this man has teleported from another place in time and space? This is a very old clip that first aired on TV back in the 90s. It captivated audiences, leaving them wondering whether the police filmed a real ghost car. The dashcam footage shows a police car in pursuit of a runaway driver. The suspect is driving erratically all over the road when his final turn leaves police baffled. Many have offered explanations for this footage. Some say the car flew through the chain link with enough force to slide under the loosely attached fence. Others have noted that there's a gap to the right of the fence that the car may have just driven through. Then there's the paranormal explanations, ghost car, aliens, teleportation. Whatever the case may be, it's some amazing footage that has raised eyebrows for decades. We featured this dashcam footage a few weeks ago, but we thought it was so amazing we had to take another look. It shows a semi-trailer swerve across the road, nearly hitting oncoming traffic. Inexplicably, a man in a lab coat appears alongside the truck. It's as though he's teleported out of nowhere, forcing the truck to take evasive action. The man then wanders dazed and confused to the other side of the road. What do you think? Is this just really clever editing or a glimpse at a genuine teleportation? This is some security footage taken on December 20, 2015. It shows a man riding a motorbike up a road. As he approaches the hill, his bike stops seconds before a train speeds by. You can clearly see him struggle with his bike right as the train hits. Then, not even a second later, he reappears running down the hill. Where did his bike go and how did he get back on this side of the train tracks? Is this some kind of anomaly with the footage, or has this man blinked himself to safety? This security camera has captured something quite alarming. Taken in an unknown location, it shows a hooded figure walk straight through a door into a shop front. The lights flicker inside the store, then the man walks back through the locked doors and out of sight. If you look closely, the timestamp on the security footage flickers between 2016 and 2019. What do you think? Elaborate hoax or proof that this teleporting time traveller just wanted a quick bite to eat?
Follow us on Twitter @SlappedHam to see outtakes just like this. From a Spanish YouTuber who made it massive trolling people on YouTube. Join us as we take a look at the top 10 most subscribed channels, top 10 most subscribed YouTube channels as of 2016. The top 10 most subscribed YouTube channels as of Dillybop. From a Spanish YouTuber who made it massive trolling people on chat roulette. Pew! Get anywhere. Pew! 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 There's links everywhere if you want to check them out. Yeah, that'll probably do. Toodles! Oh, truth. Well, that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, remember to hit that big old red subscribe button because we have videos coming out just like this every Monday and Thursday. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! From a collection dedicated to noodles in Japan to a museum that showcases toilets. Join us as we take a look at the 10 strangest museums around the world.
The Shin Yokohama Ramen Museum, located in Yokohama, Japan, is committed to preserving the history of instant noodles. Learn about your favourite ramen varieties as you gaze in wonderment at the many assorted flavours and packaging styles. Hungry? Stop at one of the many on-site ramen restaurants and don't forget to visit the ramen gift shop before you leave, because nothing says I love you like a plastic cup of instant noodles. The Icelandic Phallological Museum in Reykjavik, Iceland houses the world's largest collection of penises. The museum is home to over 280 wangs taken from 93 different species of animal. As in real life, specimens range in size from the enormous 170cm, which is around 67-inch front tip of a blue whale penis, to the minute 2mm, which is 0.08-inch penis of a hamster. So small it can only be seen through a magnifying glass. Ouch. The museum even claims to display the penises of Holgerfolk, mythical Icelandic elves. But as the elves are invisible, so too are their detached members. The museum's founder, Sigurður Hartason, claims to have had a lifelong fascination with male genitalia, ever since he received a cattle whip made from a bull's penis as a child. The museum, which is now run by Sigurður's son Hjörtur, acquired its first human specimen in July 2011. It was one of 4 penises promised to the museum by would-be donors. If you find ventriloquist dummies to be unnerving, then the Vent Haven Ventriloquist Museum may not be for you. Located in West Maple Avenue, Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, this strange museum is home to over 800 ventriloquist dummies, dating as far back as the 1700s. First opened in 1973, the museum sees more than 1,000 visitors a year and even hosts an annual ventriloquist convention. Personally, I wouldn't spend a night trapped in this museum. If horror movies have taught me anything, the dummies would most likely come to life, giggling insanely into the wee hours of the morning, all while listening to creepy old tunes on a crackly gramophone. Established in 1992, the Sulab International Toilet Museum is home to toilets from more than 50 countries. The toilets are arranged chronologically from ancient to medieval through to today's modern conveniences. The museum also includes information on sanitation, social habits, and toilet-related poetry and humour. Among the more notable pieces on display are gold and silver chamber pots used by Roman emperors, and a toilet camouflaged as a bookcase. There's even a recreation of King Louis XIV's toilet he reportedly sat on while holding court. The Museum of Broken Relationships, located in Zagreb, Croatia, was founded in 2006. Sculptor Drazen Grupicic came up with the idea after his 4-year relationship with film producer Olinka Vistica came to an end. The pair then began asking friends to donate items from their failed relationships, and soon they had a big enough collection to display. The museum proved so popular with visitors that it received the Kenneth Hudson Award for Europe's Most Innovative Museum in 2011. In 2016, famous American lawyer John B. Quinn opened a second branch of the museum in Los Angeles, California, right next to the Dolby Theatre. The museum houses a physical collection of items that have been donated anonymously, including photographs, letters, and documents. Visitors are also encouraged to upload their own images into the virtual web museum. The Big Mac Museum, located in North Huntington, Pennsylvania, first opened its doors back in 2007. The museum was opened by the creator of the Big
Ooh, a super chat. Wow.
Dalagatti, who was also one of the very first McDonald's franchisees. The museum is located inside a fully operational McDonald's restaurant and showcases tons of Big Mac related memorabilia, including advertisements, toys, and promotional photos from all around the world. The museum even has a bronze statue of Jim himself, as well as a gigantic Big Mac. Measuring 12 feet across and more than 14 feet tall, it is the largest Big Mac statue in the world. Founded in 1953 by Dr. Satoru Kamigai, the Meguro Parasitological Museum in Tokyo, Japan, is dedicated to the history of parasites. This strange museum is divided into 2 floors. The first is dedicated to parasites and their life cycles in the natural world. The second focuses on parasites that live inside the human body. With over 300 specimens on display, the museum is not for the squeamish. The collection even includes an 8.8 meter long or 29-foot tapeworm. Can't get enough? Why not visit the gift shop and take home a souvenir of your visit? Items include postcards, t-shirts, and even mobile phone cases that have actual parasites embedded in the acrylic. If you have a tendency to get overexcited at the sheer mention of fencing paraphernalia, then this place will blow your mind. Located in La Crosse, Kansas, the Kansas Barbed Wire Museum is the place to go when nothing else will quench your curiosity for barbed wire. Displaying over 2,000 different types, the museum focuses on the history of barbed wire, including its role in the settlement of the United States as well as its many modern-day applications. Established in 1970, the museum's collection grew so significantly that a new building had to be constructed. In 2004, the building was expanded to include the headquarters of the Antique Barbed Wire Society, an organization committed to collecting, preserving, exhibiting, and interpreting the historical heritage of barbed wire and barbed wire related items. Whew, thrilling stuff. The Museum of Vampires, located on the outskirts of Paris, France, is possible to visit by appointment only. Housed within a private residence, the museum is home to all manner of vampire-related items, including paintings, books, and autographs of every actor to ever have played Dracula in a Hollywood movie. There's even a mummified cat on display that was found in a nearby cemetery, as well as a painting by the so-called Vampire of Paris, infamous murderer and grave robber Nicolas Clos. Hosted by television network TV Tokyo, The Mysterious Great Adventure of the Body is an exhibition aimed at children. Held at the Saitama Super Arena in Saitama, Japan, it is based on the functions of the human body and how it produces its waste material like boogers and poo. The planners obviously know what appeals to children. This photo shows the entrance to the exhibit, a giant butt crack.
Well, that's another episode. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you could share this video around on social media, that would be amazing. Whatever your platform, Facebook, Twitter or Reddit, it's all amazingly helpful. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Phew.
Slap ham.